Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayat Nashtapriya Shabadrishu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from 3 verses today, 10, 60, 48, 10, 60, 49, 10, 6, 50 and text 51. So 4 verses today. What is written on the board? 51. So I'll read these first verses. Vyudhyayaschapi pumschalya mano bhyeti navam navam budo satem nam bibrayat tam bibrat udbhayat shuttaha. Translation: the mind, this is Rukmini speaking, the mind of a promiscuous woman always hankers for new lovers, even if she is married. An intelligent man should not keep such an unchaste wife, for if he does, he will lose his ground fortune both in this life and the next. Text 49. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sadvyaitach Chrotu Kamaistvam Rajaputri Pralambita Mayoditam Yat Anvatha Sarvam Tat Satyam Evahi. The Supreme Lord said, O saintly lady, O princess, we deceived you only because we wanted to hear you speak like this. Indeed, everything you said in reply to my words is most certainly true. Text 50. Yan yan kamaya sekaman maya kamaya bhamini santye kanta bhaktayas tava kalyani nityada. Whatever benediction you hope for in order to become free of material desires are ever yours, O fair and noble lady, for you are my unalloyed devotee. This was text 50, Krishna speaking. So, Upalabdam pati prema Upalabdam pati prema Pativratyam chate nage Pativratyam chate nage Yadvakyais chalamanya Yadvakyais chalyamanaya Nadirmaya apakarshita Nadirmaya pakarshita Upalabdam pati prema Pativratyam chate nage Yadvakyais chalyamanaya Nadirmaya pakarshita. Upalabdam pati prema Pativratyam chate nage Yad vakyais chalyamanaya Ladies, Upalabdam pati prema Upalabdham, perceived, pati, for one's husband, prema, pure love, pati, towards one's husband, vratyam, adherence to vows of chastity, cha, and, te, your, anaghe, O sinless one, yat, in as much as, vakyai, with words, chayamanayaha, been disturbed, na, not, dihi, your mind, mai, attached to me, apakarshita, dragged away. Translation. O sinless one, I have now seen firsthand the pure love and chaste attachment you have for your husband. Even though shaken by my words, your mind could not be pulled away from me. Purport by the followers of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes the following verse describing the pure love between Rukmini and Krishna. Sarvata dvamsharahitam satyapi dvamshakarane yadbhava bandhanam yunoho saprema parikirtitaha. When the affectionate bond between a young man and a young woman can never be destroyed, even there is every cause for the destruction of that relationship, the attachment between them is said to be pure love. This is the nature of the eternal loving affairs between Lord Krishna and his pure conjugal associates. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Hare Krishna. So, this is a very multi-layered, of course every Srimad Bhagavatam has a multi-layered purpose, a multi-layered understanding. I've heard one devotee once said, this verse is very deep. Actually, this verse has no end. There's a depth has no end. Every verse in Srimad Bhagavatam has no end. Because even if you understand one verse, when is the word Krishna described, to understand Krishna is not possible fully, because Krishna is all, the glories of Krishna, Krishna himself, are always expanding. So even if we come to understand Krishna at this point, then we'll have to still expand ourselves to understand Krishna. So each verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very deep, we can say. There's no end to it. Like there's a common saying in the Kusum Sarovar in Vrindavan, that somebody tried to measure the bottom of the lake and they didn't find the bottom of the lake, apparently. I don't know. So this is what's going on in Srimad Bhagavatam. So what is going on here? The Rukmini describes how she, in one sense, not defends herself, but she defends her position. Because Krishna was teasing, as we know the whole chapter, Krishna was teasing Rukmini. That, why did you marry me? You could have married somebody much, much better, much more qualified. I'm just a forest dweller, you know, unsteady person. You should have found somebody much, much better. So Rukmini, of course, fainted and Krishna tried to pacify her. But then Rukmini spoke and she said, actually you are right. I have no right to actually approach you. And I thought, you know, this was like a few verses back, that this is the beginning of this explanation of these verses here. The Rukmini actually speaks for all of us who are approaching Krishna completely unqualified. We have any ground to approach Krishna. We have nothing that Krishna needs from us. Nothing. And this is what Rukmini said. You are completely self-sufficient. Shanti. Krishna is Svarat. Krishna does not need any assistance from anybody. So, of course, she's Rukmini Devi. She's even Krishna's internal potency. But we, as a marginal potency, we absolutely have nothing to offer to Krishna. Nothing. Nothing. Sometimes as we are young devotees, we shave our head. I remember the first time I shaved my head, devotee shaved my head, and they put a white shirt on me, and they said, "You look like a demigod." And I was looking in the mirror, I said, "Wow, I actually do look like a demigod." But this is foolishness. We have actually nothing to offer to Krishna. Nothing. We do all kinds of wonderful services. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada always wanted the bell to be on time. So we offer all kinds of services, and sometimes in the course of time we think that I am actually offering the service to Krishna. But in reality we are just like as Arjuna became an instrument. I first time came to hear this temple, Mumbai, 1992. I came and I did a marathon book distribution with one devotee, I forgot his name, he was a brahmachari. We did, I don't know exactly where, it was in front of some station, and there was a big Shiva temple, I don't know, you probably know, there's a big Shiva temple, many Shiva temples. And I did not speak any Hindi, of course, or Marathi, and my only line was, I Bhagavad-gita dekhiye. This was my line. And we did absolutely lots of Bhagavad-gitas. And I came back and we read the score, like you read the score, and our table was #1 table. I was so proud, But this was, now when I look back, this is so silly, but I was at that time so proud. Our table was the best, But actually it is, our service is insignificant, distributing 100 Bhagavad-gitas, which is very glorious, of course. But, Krishna can, first of all, this picture here, Mother Yashoda, when she looked at Krishna's mouth, she saw the whole universe contained in his body. Now when you just think about this, when we have a concept of something stays in somewhere, in some space, when the universe is a space. But Krishna does not stand in anything, everything is in Krishna. He doesn't have a space that he is standing on. This is very difficult to understand. Outside of Krishna there's nothing. He is actually everything. So this is what Mother Yashoda saw. She was shocked. In the mouth of Krishna she saw the whole universes. And what Prabhupada says, what did Mother Yashoda do? She did like this. Krishna, don't do this again. She didn't know what it is. Just don't do this. Krishna, whatever it is, don't do. Because Mother Yashoda is a very simple woman, cowherd woman. She wanted to remain, and Krishna also wanted to remain in this level of being his mother. So Krishna is everything, and he does not need anything from anything. So actually to dare to approach Krishna, to be my husband, it's a very big deal. Rukmini, my dear Krishna, please come and kidnap me. This is a little bit of a, you can say, puffed up, I am beautiful Princess Rukmini, and I want to be kidnapped by you. And this is not, of course, this is a Leela of the Lord, we know. But there's also in the history we can see, we're just recently reading, how Krishna, how the sage Kashyapa decided they were praying to Krishna, please, we want to have a child like you. Child like you. And Krishna says, okay, this is also daring. Imagine every Grihastha in Mumbai said, my dear Lord, my dear Radharasbihari, I want to have a child just like you, And Krishna said, well, it's very difficult to have a child just like me because nobody is like me, so then I have to be your child. And this is a little bit difficult at this time in Mumbai because this is not scheduled to be incarnated. Krishna is not scheduled to be incarnated, so we should not pray to have a child like Krishna, just for the Grihasthas who desire to have a child, Krishna. Many they worship as Ladu Gopal, so as a child, this is my child. That could be, maybe in this next life, but not even child. You cannot be Mother Yashoda. You cannot be Devaki. You can be assistant of Devaki. You can be a servant of Devaki. Anyways, to come back. So, devotees approaching Krishna is a hope against a hope. Rupa Goswami has written this very nicely in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And this is described in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I have to read this. This is such a wonderful verse. Oh my Lord, I do not have any love for you. This is important. We do not have any love for Krishna. nor am I qualified for discharging devotional service of chanting and hearing. Who can say I can chant 24 hours a day? It's 24 hours a day. Continuous bhajan. Not sleeping. This is called sushupti, deep sleep. So if you are deep, when we are sleeping, we are just walking by to the beach today and this rickshaw driver is sleeping in the rickshaw. They are snoring, mostly them, So this is called deep sleep, snoring. But a pure devotee does not have a deep sleep. In deep sleep, he is also seeing Krishna, talking to Krishna, chanting. So this is a very high elevated stage that we are chanting constantly. Constant chanting, 24 hours a day. So, I do not have any love for you. I am not qualified for discharging devotional service by chanting and hearing. Nor do I possess a mystic power of a Vaishnava. We don't have a mystic power. Mystic power is sometimes described, and actually in the Bhakti Ratnakara, that Sanatana Goswami would go to Govardhan in a very short period of time. And how could he do this? Because the Vrindavan Dham is like a lotus flower. And sometimes lotus flower, how do you say this? Folds in, comes, and then in the night, and then in the day opens up. So Sanatana Goswami could have this mystic power and see, now it's closing, so this long distance he covers in a short time. How does that work? We don't know. How does that work? That they incarnated, devotees living in Goloka Dham and incarnate themselves in this Leela of Lord Chaitanya? We don't know. This is a mystic power of a Vaishnava. How is Mother Yashoda incarnated in as many incarnations of Krishna? She expands herself in many universes to serve Krishna as his mother. Not possible to understand. Imagine millions of universes, Mother Yashoda expands into millions of bodies. This is described in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So, no mystic power of a Vaishnava, unless, somebody here. Or pious activities. We see in the Shastras described the real pious activities, the kings, so pious, Rantideva wanted to give his own flesh to actually satisfy. This is called pious activity. This is amazing pious activity. We cannot understand this piety. Like for example, Jai Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai, SriSriRadhaRasbihari ki Jai, Lalita Vishaka Devi ki Jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai. Like who can understand the piety of Yudhishthira Maharaj, that he never lied? Did anybody never lied in their life? I don't know. Maybe there's somebody in some village in the Himalayas, But person who never lied once, Yudhishthira Maharaj never lied once. Amazing, never lied. This is a great pious thing. So we don't have any of this. And then Rupa Goswami said, nor do I belong to a very high caste family. Rupa Goswami actually belonged to a very high caste family. Saraswata Brahmana. Very high caste. Very high family. On the whole, I do not possess anything, he says. Still, O beloved of the gopis, because you bestow your mercy on the most fallen, I have an unbreakable hope that is constantly in my heart. So, the point here is, you bestow your mercy on the most fallen. Dina Dayal. Dina Bandhu. This is all Krishna's. Hare Krishna. This is all Krishna's name. He's a Dina Bandhu, the friend of the poor, or the most fallen, the poor. And he said, this hope is unbreakable, constantly breaking my heart. Because you think, will Krishna be merciful unto me? Will Krishna be merciful unto me? And he said, that hope is always giving me pain. So I have this hope, but it's always giving me pain. So this is the mood of a devotee. The mood of a devotee is that we are very not qualified. That we are very, even if we are qualified, we should think ourselves, in reality, I'm not qualified. Because even if you're the most qualified, you cannot be as qualified as big demon like Hiranyakashipu. I was just once, I remember reading for Chaturdashi, I was thinking, Hiranyakashipu was much more qualified than I could ever be. Hiranyakashipu was amazingly qualified. He could conquer the heavenly planets. Imagine this. He could stand like this, on his feet, on the toes, for 1,000 years. No drinking, no eating. That's a qualification. And from his body came huge fire. That whole universe started shaking and choking and thinking like, oh my God, we have to do something, that he will burn the whole universe. So I cannot even come close to the qualifications of Hiranyakashipu. And even if we are super qualified, there's always somebody who will be more qualified than us. Always. In this world, there's always somebody more qualified. There's one very humorous story, you can say, in the history of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada once told to one great devotee, very great Prabhupada disciple who was very actively involved in this movement here in the Mumbai, Tamal Krishna Goswami. This is described. And he said, there's a whole 1/4 of the spiritual world is the material world. And in the material world there are innumerable universes with innumerable living entities. And out of this innumerable universe, there's a one small universe, the smallest of the universe. It is this in Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna book described. The only 4-headed Brahma. The other Brahmas are 10-headed, 100-headed, million heads. And our universe is very small, the smallest universe. And in this smallest universe, there's innumerable planets. And in the innumerable planets, there's one planet called Earthly Planet. And in this planet, there's so many different cities. And in so many different cities in this world, there's one city called Los Angeles. And in this one city, Los Angeles, there's millions of people. And in this million people, there's one street called Vatsika Avenue. This is where the temple was. And there's the one Tamal Krishna Goswami, he thinks is very important. Of course, we ask forgiveness from Tamal Krishna Maharaj. It's just illustration. He was a great devotee, of course. But the point was Prabhupada wanted to make that there's so many people, so many super qualified people. So we should not think I am because I know how to clean the floor better than Bhakta Dinesh. I'm better devotee. Or this devotee distributes 72 books and I distribute 74. And then some Mataji goes out and does 6 books and you say, how many books you did? 6. This is ridiculous. We actually should always consider, I have no qualification, just like this. And because I am daring to approach Krishna only because Krishna is the most he's the friend of the most fallen. That's why. Because I am that one. Especially in the Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga we know Manda Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya Hipadrutaha. Very unqualified people, very disturbed mind. Who chants many rounds ecstatically? There's few devotees in 3 o'clock here chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But mostly devotees are struggling with the mind. We're struggling. We're chanting, and after like half an hour, what happened? Where I am? What round? How many rounds did I chant? And then you realize you didn't pull these things, and you chanted 2 rounds after 45 minutes, and you think, oh my God, what am I supposed to do now? This is our state. And even if you are super focused, then sometimes your mind goes to, idlis, doshas, I would like some. When I was very new bhakta, I was chanting. I thought, when I joined, I thought that's it. Within 6 months, I'll become pure devotee, and that's it. 6 months, the most. Because the process, I'm so focused, I'm so advanced. And then I start chanting, and I start thinking about pancakes. And I'm chanting, and I'm imagining my mother making pancake, put nice fruit jams. And I realized it was 1 hour, 1.5 hours I'm thinking of pancakes. And I realized I will not become pure devotee within 6 months. Not possible. So, but by the mercy of previous acharyas, by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, particularly by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have this hope that we will also reach this destination which is very, very difficult to go. Bhagavad-gita says, those who go there, they will never return. Never return again. Imagine, Mama Maya Duratyaya, Mama Evaya Prapadyante Maya Metantarantite. Maya is there not almost, it's impossible to overcome. But by Krishna's mercy, by Prabhupada's mercy, it is possible. And because when I was in Vrindavan recently, I had some even arguments. One devotee told me, Prabhupada, you have to know the position in the spiritual world, you have to know your Svarup, so you can go back to Godhead. Unless you know your Svarup now, you cannot go back to Godhead. And I said, this is not true. This is just not true. I gave him some verses from Bhagavatam, 11th canto. And also, look at the Prabhupada's letters. Prabhupada promises. If Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee of the Lord, promises anything, kontaya pratijanihi, name bhakta pranashati. Pure devotee promises. This is not a joke. Prabhupada's words are just Prabhupada said this. Listen to this. This is letter to Sudama. I thank you for being sincere in helping me to spread this great mission of Krishna consciousness. You have always served me very faithfully, so I pray that Krishna may bless you with a long life, which to open many temples. I guess he opened the temple, so Prabhupada is very pleased that he opened a temple. And in this very life, in this very lifetime, you may return back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada promised, you keep on serving me, keep on preaching, opening temples, and you will go back to Godhead. It's written there. It's actually signed by Prabhupada. So Prabhupada signed this. And listen to this, letter to Ujjal. Ujjal is probably not even, not like a big sannyasi in Prabhupada's retinue. It's just a devotee called Ujjal, 1972. You are a very sincere boy, and you are a very eligible candidate for going back home, back to Godhead. And the process is very simple. Follow the regulatory principles very strictly. Chant at least 16 rounds of beads every day. Read our literature. Go on strict Sankirtan, etc. In this way, keep yourself engaged in Krishna's business 24 hours. And in this lifetime, you'll become perfectly happy. And in the end, reach the supreme destination. Very simple. Our process is super, super simple. We have a very high philosophy. We can, analyze Jiva Goswami Sandarbhas, Sanskrit. But the essence of all of this is simplicity. The essence of this is chant 60 rounds, follow the regular principles, go out on street Sankirtan, preach, and follow the principles. And in this very lifetime, Prabhupada promised to take us back to Godhead. So take it. We should take it. It's a good deal. Sometimes we were just buying airplane tickets and we were thinking, should we buy this ticket or this? And then suddenly, the day after came Black Friday. And I said, take it, this is a good deal, just take it. You may shop a lot more around, but take it. When it's a good deal, take it. So this is a good deal. Take it. So this is the mood of Rukmini, dareness. She dares to love Krishna. Another interesting point here is that in a verse earlier, when she said, the mind of a promiscuous woman always hankers for new lovers, even if she is married, Rukmini says. An intelligent man should not keep such an unchaste wife, for if he does, he will lose good fortune both in this life and the next. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in this purport to this verse, this is 48, verse 48. He said, she paraphrases what Rukmini told Krishna, that you being omniscient, if you knew that I was such a woman, you would have rejected me already. So meaning, that she told Krishna, if you think that I was unchaste to you, you will not accept me in the first place. I thought this is a very interesting point, because meaning that Krishna knows everything about us. Krishna knows everything about everything. Sarvata param padam tat, sarvatok shishiro mukham, sarvata shrutima loke, sarvam avritya tishtati. Bhagavad-gita, 13th chapter, 14th verse. It is described that his hands and legs are everywhere, his eyes, his heads and faces, he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. I had once one bhakta in America, and he was with us 1 week, and he said, I'm leaving this Krishna consciousness movement. And I said, why? And he said, I'm going to somewhere where there's no Krishna. I had enough of Krishna. And I told him, this is not possible. And I quoted this verse. Krishna's eyes are everywhere. Krishna's ears everywhere. Andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam. Krishna is in every atom. You cannot go anywhere where there's no Krishna. I spoke to him maybe half an hour, and he said, it makes sense. Okay, I'll stay here. He became a Sankirtan devotee later. But the point is that how can you go anywhere where there's no Krishna? How can you think that you are somewhere where there is no Krishna? Sometimes we go visit our parents, as brahmachari, visit your parents, and you think, wow, there's no Krishna here. I can do anything I want. But you cannot, because Krishna is everywhere. Krishna is in the heart of your parent. Krishna is in the heart of your neighbor. Once we had a Harinam in one city in Europe, and the devotee who was leading Harinam, he was like, Hare Krishna, a little bit, and we were walking like this, Hare Krishna. All of us were like a little bit, And this one old man, the fisherman, very old man, with a stick, with a mustache, he raised the stick and he said, come on, lively, lively, lively. What's it is? Lively, sing livelier. Some, non-devotee fisherman. We were like, oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna is telling us, lively. So, sarvata pani padam tam, sarvatok shishira mukam. His eyes are everywhere. He sees everything. Krishna hears everything. Meaning that we cannot hide from Krishna. We cannot hide behind our, cloth. I'm now very advanced devotee, I'm wearing this color, and, we cannot hide behind our position. In an institution we get positions sometimes. Prabhupada says, you became, one letter, he said, you became temple president is a sign that Krishna has recognized your service. So Krishna recognizes our service to give us position. Oh, you are good. You want to do this? Okay, you take this, you take this. But we should not identify it with the position. We should say, yes, I am now in charge of the whatever youth group, but I'm not in charge of these boys. I'm a servant of these boys. As Prabhupada was always saying, that these are, Bhaktisiddhanta, he quoted Bhaktisiddhanta when Bhaktisiddhanta's disciples came and he said, I am actually just your servant. There's so many masters. Krishna sent me so many masters. Prabhupada thought that his disciples were expansions of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati to assist him in his service. So this is how devotees are looking. We cannot hide from Krishna. Prabhupada says all the regulative principles in the Vedas pertaining to the desire for popularity, fatherhood, wealth, and so on are all different phases of sense gratification. So we should know that whatever we think that we are doing great is actually just a desire for sense gratification. We only want only one thing, and one only is service to Krishna. Service to Krishna. That's it. Prabhupada continues, but above all, this is a transcendental stage which one feels himself to be only an eternal servitor of Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead. All acts performed in this sense of servitude are called pure love of God because they are performed for the absolute sense gratification of Krishna. So this is the point, and this is what Rukmini's example is, that she actually only wants to satisfy Krishna. Of course, there's a whole discussion about the gopis, how are they devoted only to Krishna, but the point is that the devotees are only interested in serving Krishna, whatever Krishna desires. And Krishna later tell Rukmini, whatever desires you have, I will fulfill all of them. Imagine somebody comes and he said, I fulfill all your desires, what do you want? And you're like, oh, I want one house as big as this, at least as big as this, maybe bigger. No, we said, no, I'll do everything for Krishna, whatever is needed for Krishna, what Krishna wants. And for this, we have this in Vrindavan, in the Vaikuntha also kalpa vriksha trees, the all-fulfilling, wish-fulfilling trees. So imagine you sit under a wish-fulfilling tree and what would you desire? What would you desire, you know? It's a tricky thing. But these wish-fulfilling trees are there because the wish-fulfilling trees are trusting a devotee that devotee will desire only Krishna's benefit. And therefore, the wish-fulfilling trees will actually assist devotee to do the best for Krishna. It is said even that at the end, you know, the more one progresses in Krishna consciousness, Krishna gives material opulence to devotee. And the reason why Krishna gives the opulence, because then Krishna trusts you. Then you can use it in Krishna's service. All. How many examples I heard that one devotee came and gave, this was a Guru Kripa Prabhu, he gave to Prabhupada whatever, $100,000 check, $100,000. And put it on Prabhupada table. And Prabhupada looked at it and he just moved to the other side of the table and said, take this money and build this and this building or temple. So Prabhupada just moved with his finger, moved the check on the left. He did not, you know, okay, I'll take 1/3 of it or I'll take half, you know. Prabhupada just moved the check to the left. This is pure devotional service. We engage everything in Krishna's service. And therefore, these devotees like Rukmini, Satyabhama, you know, Gopis of Vrindavan, the other queens, they're the most glorious because they give everything to Krishna. There is nothing for them. Nothing for them. This is a great lesson that we should follow. Therefore, we are the followers of the Mahajanas. We are the followers of the great devotees. We are not imitators. You know, Krishna is fighting with Satyabhama and we think, oh, I also should fight with Krishna because this is how you're supposed to do. No, we are the followers of these devotees. See how much devotion they have. How much they dedicate everything for Krishna. And therefore, we may get hope that one day Prabhupada and the disciplic succession, that Krishna will be merciful on us. And then for the end, I would like to say a few Sankirtan stories. This is a marathon time. About the total absorption in Krishna, even 24 hours a day, even while sleeping. One devotee was sleeping and he woke up and he said, oh, I'm too late for book distribution. I have to get up immediately. So he ran, put his shoes on, jacket, book bag, and he ran out and opened the door. It was dark. I said, what's happening? Then he looked at the watch. It was 12 o'clock at midnight. He was so absorbed in book distribution that he was even night. He was thinking, how can I'm late for book distribution. So this is a great absorption in book distribution. Some devotees, when we were traveling in the van, devotees in sleep, they say, but no, this book is not for free. You have to give donation. In sleep, you know, they speak. So many wonderful stories of book distribution, devotees' absorption in book distribution. Because book distribution is just like any other service, is endless. When you go traveling through any city and you just looked at all these buildings and each window, you just think, does this window has Krishna book? What about this window? What about this window? If you analyze, there's so many windows, there's no Krishna book, no Bhagavad-gita, no Prabhupada's books. So lots of things to do. There's one story, this famous devotee, Harinam Prabhu, in the 90s in Europe, they were distributing books whole week and they were driving home, you know, driving to the temple. Once a week they go back to the temple. And the evening, it was very late at night, and they were driving by one building complex and it was all night. It was the night, all lights are dark except one light on the last floor. And he said, stop the van. And the van is stopping what? You know, it's already like 11, 12 o'clock or whatever. Stop the van. And the van stopped. And he took a set of Bhagavatam and he just disappeared in the dark. And he went somehow to this building and he went all the way up. And he came back, no set of Bhagavatam in his hands. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gaurita ki jai. SriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki jai. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. So this is the real absorption meditation. In every window, And every terrace and every building, how many sets of Srimad Bhagavatam do we have? And even if they have a set of Srimad Bhagavatam, do they have a set of Chaitanya Charitamrita? Do they? You know. And if they have a set of Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's so many other wonderful books. And so on and so forth. So this is absorption in the preaching mission. We have a lifetime of full absorption in Krishna service and mission of Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada. So thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Would you have any question or any remark? Yes, Prabhu.
Hey, Krishna. Thank you very much for the Sankirtan stories. I also was in Los Angeles. What year were you in Los Angeles?
I was actually I lived in Seattle, 97, 98, 99, 2001, 2. We had this, we opened a center called Seattle Sankirtan Center. And I knew this temple president, Sadhu Sangananda Prabhu. He was a temple president in Boston. And they were the small temple, #1 small temple in the world of book distribution. And once we met at Ratha Yatra, and I told him, next year we are going to beat you. And he said, ha, you know, because Boston was many new devotees. And so he said, let's make new devotees. We have 1 year, make new devotees, and next year we're going to beat Boston. And next year we're beating Boston. They did 40,000 points, we did 60,000 points. So book distribution also means more new devotees. How many, of course, there are people who do Maharatis. You know, there was a few years ago, there was this Mataji Radhika. I don't know who did, Bhaktin Radhika. She did like 1 million points. I don't know, some amazing amount of points. So this is one person can do big, you know. But if you have more people, this is my experience, the more new devotees you have, the more you can distribute books. You know. So new devotees is as equally important as book distribution.
Thank you very much for your Sankirtan stories once
Hare
again.
Krishna. Anything else about Rukmini? Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rukmini Devi ki jai.